Come on, Canelo. Why you had to do it like payday? You want payday? I know that Canelo Alvarez is back making excuses. And we gonna talk about it right now in this video. Now, why would Canelo haul off and do this? First, let me start off with what he said. Quote, I would like to have the opportunity to have that rematch with Dmitry Bivol. That's the only fight at 175 that I would really take, but we'll see, in a brand new interview with Ring Magazine. Canelo was also asked if the loss to Bivol hurts or if it bothers him. He says, yeah, not bothers me, but I want to tell myself you learned something from that fight. What things you don't need to do again. I have that thing in myself. You need to show you're a better fighter than him. He also goes on to say, but wait, there's more. I have 50% of my abilities right there. So he was saying that he wasn't in proper shape to be fighting. Quote, no condition, no nothing, because I can't run and I can't throw like I do or do pads and do sparring. So he had no cardio, no conditioning in that fight. You can ask Alex Gavoski. He was there helping me for that fight. I have 1 month with no sparring because of my injured hand. So yeah, the knee injury prevented him from running in the Bivol camp. I did a good fight, a very good fight, but not enough. Oh, he's good. He's a very good fighter. You can see, and everybody says, oh, he's nothing. He chose the fighter. He's a good fighter. He's one of the best fighters out there. Let's see. Let's see when it comes to the rematch. Why would Canelo do this, man? First of all, the fight happened a minute ago. I don't even remember. We're in 2025, pretty much at the halfway mark. We're about to enter May, 5th month of the year. There's 12 months in a year. So 6 months, we're getting close to that 6-month mark. So almost halfway through the year, and you're still talking about a Bivol fight from years ago. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Many fighters, I know these guys personally, a lot of them. I've worked with them, interviewed them, filmed them, covered their fight, etc. The reality is there's a strong majority of fights and fighters where they don't enter the ring 100%. It is actually rare, and you could talk to fighters if you know any. It's actually rare that a fighter shows up to a fight, big or little, and they're 100% everything. What about the guys who get the call 2 weeks before the actual fight because they're the B-side? Do you think they're at 100% of their capabilities? Absolutely not. How could they be? Your opponent is a bigger star than you in the A side, and you're being brought in with little to no time to prepare. Look at Turkey's card in February. That happened twice. 2 fighters got ill the week of the fight. Daniel Dubois, so he had to pull out of the Joseph Parker title fight, and also Floyd Schofield, who had to pull out of the Shakur Stevenson fight. So guess what? Turkey said, hey, I want to save the card and all this. And he brought in Martin Bakole with no time to prepare. He was out of shape, 315, 320 pounds, getting to Riyadh the day of the fight. This is unheard of stuff. And he got knocked out in 2 rounds. So cool, he got paid, but at what cost? Now his whole boogeyman aura at heavyweight took a back seat, right? Padley, Josh Padlock Padley. He just had a win. But when he fought Shakur Stevenson, he got stopped to the body, and he said, I could take his headshots, pause, but I wasn't in no shape. I had no cardio. So I don't want to hear from Canelo, who's been in the pro game for more than half of his life at this point, turned pro at age 15, and he's crying over some injuries when he's the A side. He was the A side versus Bivol. He was the favorite versus Bivol. And my thing is this, there's other guys who, again, they got 2 weeks to get something cracking. Look at Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua. He didn't have no time to prepare because that wasn't the original opponent. It was Gerald Big Baby Miller, right? So there's so many B-sides who get called in, and they do the unthinkable and put up great performances and or victories, and no one feels sorry for them. So why should we feel sorry for A-side Canelo? Because years later, he's complaining about he wasn't 100%, tough titty. The other issue is I would understand it a bit more if Canelo Alvarez had rematch Bivol. Fine. You were injured. You weren't feeling good. Your tummy ached. You had a chorro, the Hershey squirts, whatever, right? Cool. But you never rematched Bivol. So if you knew that you lost, but you say you performed good and had a good fight or whatever, with all things considered, then you should have did the immediate rematch, because that's what great champions do. Look at Andre Ward. When people said the Kovalev fight, you arguably lost, or you could have lost, or I'm not a believer, Andre Ward did what great champions before him have done. He said, okay, let me shut y'all up. My knee was bothering me in the first fight. Watch what I do after I've, addressed the issue and have a full camp with full functionality of my knee or whatever, therapy. And he came back and stopped Kovalev. Same thing with Jermell Charlo. Say what you want about him, but the times where the fights, either he lost or it was controversial, he came back and rematched and stopped the guys. Tony Harrison lost, as well as Brian Castano. So I'm not trying to hear from Canelo. Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, he made him no mas in the rematch. Floyd Mayweather, Maidana, Floyd Mayweather, Castillo. Every single time there was a major controversy, these fighters stepped up to the plate and did an immediate rematch. Guess who didn't? Canelo Alvarez. So I don't want to hear Canelo Alvarez now crying years later about I wasn't at my full capabilities. Cool. Even if that was the case, then you should have rematched Bivol and say, hey, I'm better now. But instead, you moved on and fought Berlangas and John Ryders and Munguias and brought Jermell Charlo up. That don't make no sense to me. You should have fought Bivol if that loss bothers you still. And really, people need to get over it. Canelo should have more than 2 losses. He lost to Erislandy Lara, and he at least lost one of the Triple G fights. I think the first one, right? So people, they trip out on Canelo's resume like he should be an undefeated fighter or like a once beaten fighter because of the Floyd Mayweather loss only. That's the only loss that they acknowledge. But to me, Canelo has several losses. They just haven't actually affected because he's an A-side and cash cow, so they haven't affected his record, period, right? Also, I gotta add this. Canelo Alvarez, aside from him not doing an immediate rematch with the boy Bivol and letting Better Biv move on to fight him for undisputed, Canelo Alvarez, you should have pulled out of the fight. What type of fighter, longtime pro, doesn't know when they're not going to be at their best? Because you're really, every time you step in the ring, you're risking your life. So why would you risk your life, right, knowing you can't properly acquit yourself and give the best fighting chance you have to defeat a credible fighter like Dmitry Bivol? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Like, hey, I just want to risk it. Everything I work for, I haven't lost in several years on paper since the Floyd Mayweather fight in 2013. I rebuilt myself. I'm a popular fighter, but let me not postpone the event and chance it knowing I'm at 50% or whatever he's talking about now. I don't buy it. I don't buy it all, because I know fighters. If you have a punctured lung, you're going to really go fight a Better Biv or a Bivol with a punctured lung. So if it's really whatever you got going on, if it's really severe enough, most fighters will pull out or postpone it and just deal with the consequences and fan disappointment and stuff like that. So any fighter who signs up, passes whatever commission screenings and brain scans and stuff like that, they don't declare beforehand that, hey, I am gravely injured and I'm not going to be able to perform well before the fight, then I don't want to hear it after the fight, point blank period. even if it's the case, I think it's better to kind of just eat it because you didn't declare none of this beforehand and you still elected to go through. So for me, I've always looked at it like, if you're really incapable of performing to the best of your abilities, then you don't go forward with the fight, or you push the date back or whatever you have to do. So you don't have any regrets. You don't have an unnecessary loss. Like, hey, I know I could beat this guy, but I looked horrible because I wasn't at my best. So you signed up for it. You cleared all medicals and you felt you could still beat this guy. That's your fault. So to me, I feel like when people come out with this stuff, it's kind of like you underestimated your opponent. Even if it's true, you felt you were so good that 50% of you would whoop Dmitry Bivol, because Bivol, this was before the Zordo fight and it was before the Beterbiev fight. So he wasn't really on a hot streak. So I think Canelo very well underestimated Dmitry Bivol and thought it was going to be easy work. And you know, even if he was allegedly injured, he thought he could still beat him. Because if you feel I got a broken hand and this guy's too dangerous, you're going to pull out the fight or you're going to withdraw. So when fighters don't do it, I don't want to hear about the crying about it later, period. You got to just eat that. You got to own it. You got to eat it and deal with the consequences. I'm not trying to hear that, because I mean, anyone could do that. So Steph Curry could be like, oh man, I got cramps in my leg and my calf was bothering me. I had club foot, a broken foot. That's why I lost the finals. No one's trying to hear that in the highest level of elite professional sports. You signed up, you were on the court, you were in the ring, you were on the field, whatever the case is, live with the results. So it's kind of bad and pathetic from Canelo to come out with this now. Plus, Bivol is likely fighting Beterbiev next, and you are fighting William Skull, so it's kind of neither here nor there type of thing as well. So I don't really like this from Canelo. Baby.